Here's the June 10th three-man medical board, 1991, signed off by the fire commissioner. This is a very important document. This states that I'm retired, again due to cervical disc herniations, cervical and lumbar radiculopathy. This important, very important medical report given to Mary O'Sullivan. All these reports show I was not suffering from a pain syndrome. Well, this report states and uses Dr. Marchesello's examination that he didn't diagnose me with a pain syndrome, that he needed to see further x-rays before he could diagnose why the pain has been getting worse. This rules out pain syndrome as well as every other report that rules out any type of made-up pain syndrome. Dr. Marchesello also was forced to be removed from the fire department by the fire commissioner and by the union for the way he was treating firefighters. I had been called in on May 23rd to, I was driven in by a Medmobile, a 45-foot Medmobile that was ordered to come to my house, and two light-duty firemen helped carry me into the medical office. Well, I could walk, but they helped me up and down the steps, getting out of the ambulance. And what happened was Marlene Gold had ordered Commissioner Mancusi, he may have been a civilian deputy commissioner. See, Marlene Gold was second in command. For some reason, somehow she thought that if she could put me on medical leave a year and a half after I was already forced to retire, that she had a reason to start my home confinement. She felt that if I go sick from light duty, she'll put me on light duty. I had to order the medical office to put me on light duty, and then if I go sick from light duty, she felt that she was entitled to now have me home confined. Well, on June 13, 1991, that's exactly what they did. The memo was dated from Rosemary Carroll, June 13, 1991. And it's about Dr. Ginsburg, who had put me on light duty for 4 hours without examining me. He was the doctor that found me unfit for any duty and why I was forced to put my retirement paper in. But he was under orders from Marlene Gold, Deputy Commissioner of the Fire Department, to put me on light duty. Chief Cheeseman was standing there by the door when I came in and ordered Dr. Ginsburg to put me on light duty. Before I even went in to get examined, and then when I went in, I was never examined. On May 23rd, 1991, Chief Cheeseman told Dr. Ginsburg, put Romanelli on light duty. Without no medical evidence or anything, without examining me, Ginsburg put me on light duty. I went upstairs in the medical office and I had to perform light duty on the 3rd floor or 4th floor. After 4 hours of doing light duty, I called my attorney and told her what was going on. Why are they trying to put me on light duty when I'm supposed to be retiring and they're committing all this fraud and everything that's going on? The ambulance was already sent back. 2 light duty drivers had went home. Rosemary asked me if I was in pain. I said yes. She said, Michael, get a cab and go home and tell them that you're going to leave, that you're going sick. That's what I did. I laid down in the back of a cab and I drove home. I had them take me home. On May 30th, 1991, they sent another Medmobile to my house with 2 light duty firemen. Only this time it was Dr. Marchesello that was waiting for me, and Chief Cheeseman again standing outside the medical office door. Chief Cheeseman now says, you're ordered again to light duty. I explained to Chief Cheeseman what was going on with my pension. The 2 guys just helped me out of the ambulance and helped me into the 3rd floor of the medical office. I told Chief Cheeseman, I said that what my condition was, that I was in pain, and that I'm supposed to be retiring, and what they've been putting me through for the last year and a half, 2 years. Chief Cheeseman says, I don't care, you have to do light duty. He goes in, orders Dr. Marchicello, orders him to order me to light duty. At this time, Ginsburg comes back in to the room and says to Marchicello, or put Romanelli on light duty. Marchicello first said, I can't put him on light duty. He's got atrophy, he's got this, he's got that. Then he started examining me. He bent me like a pretzel. I was in a lot of pain, much more than what I went in with. What happened now is I left, I went home. This time I took Subway. I couldn't afford a cab, I didn't have any money on me, but I took Subway coming home. I later see my orthopedic, later on May 30th, 1991. That medical report was given to Mary O'Sullivan, and again not read by the 1B board. It was hours after his examination, Marchicello's examination. Dr. Marchicello was also, like I said, was forced to resign, and Dr. Ginsburg was also forced to resign from the fire department for feeling the breasts of 4 female firefighters. There was a lawsuit against him, and he had to leave also. This was all being done for Marlene Gold. Now she has firemen coming after me that are in charge of the medical office. Drug addicts and alcoholics don't get treated the way I was treated. And this is a job I loved. On June 25th, 1991, Dr. Soren, an orthopedic, examined me. The diagnosis remains unchanged as before, meaning when he retired me on the March 8th, 1993, my medical board. Cervical disc herniation is radiculopathy, cervical lumbar. The patient is capable of light duty capacity, avoiding any lifting, repeating, bending, pushing, or pulling. See, they're all being ordered now by Marlene Gold to put me on light duty. Medical report being taken out of the record, another one. This is June 25th, 1991. Here's August 23rd, 1991, a neurologist who examined me. This was given in the memorandum signed receipts to Mary O'Sullivan. Impression: the patient appears to be suffering from cervical spine and root disease, presumably the disc herniations found on a recent MRI with maximum involvement at the level of C5, C6, as suggested by the electromyogram. I'm sorry, I don't know how to say that. It is likely that the cervical spine and root problems are the direct result of the trauma he sustained when he fell backwards while employed as a New York City firefighter. It is also likely that he sustained a disc herniation in the lumbar spine as well, and this is suggested by his history of the low back pain and also by the L5S1 radiculopathy. It is likely that he has a permanent disability, and that this precludes his return to his usual occupation or to his usual activities of daily living. Again, never read by the 1B board. Now on March 27, 1992, I was officially retired. I'm now retired on a split decision called the Scheck decision, which is a 6-6 vote where the union votes for you and all the other members on the Board of Trustees vote against you. There is a representative, a deputy mayor from the mayor's office that sits on the pension board. There is also another member from the city finance department, and there is another member from city controller's office. Back then it was Alan Hevesy, the disgraced state controller who's looking at time. I don't know if he's gone to jail yet. But I even had letters from his office going to the fire department. Wrote letters to the fire department to help me, and he sits on the pension board. If I find them, I'll bring them back to you and show you. But he wrote multiple letters. His office did, anyway.